Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat, where we will be reviewing our dismal performance against the North Melbourne Kangaroos. How are we feeling, boys? It's pretty deflating, I would have thought.
Pretty flat.
Yeah, very flat.
Very flat.
Yeah.
Very flat. Very flat.
It's always a tough morning, so especially when you put up a performance like that. And I think it's just, we're talking about it before, it's because it's not our worst loss of all time that we've seen. It's more just the hope and the belief we go into games with now, especially off the back of last quarters, like against Collingwood, where Harry kicked 4. Arguably, Harry was out, obviously, but it just sort of puts a bit more confidence in us that this team is sort of going places. And then North Melbourne isn't like, they're no mug. They were last, I believe, though. But I don't know, like, to lose by 39 points against North Melbourne is, where do we go from here? I don't know.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah, like I literally joked about it. I mean, like we mentioned it before, but 3 or 4 weeks ago, over the past month, I've been saying, God, like we might actually. I mean, we'll lose to North Melbourne as a joke, boys. We lost to the bottom side by 39 points. 39. We conceded how many goals in the four?
Seven in the third.
We conceded 7 goals to the bottom of the ladder.
And it's all good to
13
say
after
they're
half-time.
better than that. They're better than bottom
I
spot.
think-
But the reality is they are bottom.
I think that shows that we need to stop joking about these teams below us. Like,
Because
these teams are
we're not
fucking.
good.
They might be bottom, but fuck, they're in a better spot than we are right now. They've got exciting young guys that actually play. Their structure's good. Their coach, I'll talk about that later. But
like no one was expecting that. No one was expecting a loss.
I was expecting a loss though.
A loss by 40 points.
Not by 40.
Okay.
The amount of shit this team has given all of us in our lifetime, I'm surprised, honestly. It's pretty bad.
But obviously, just before we jump into predictions as well, some of our predictions are a little bit off in terms of there was a late out, of course. I think we need to start filming these episodes about an hour before the game because there's a late out every week now.
Because we never know.
There's a late out every week. But obviously, Harry was out, which made always come in and then Murph medical sub. But yeah, just before we do get into predictions, I've got a question to you guys. Sort of just why do we put so much time, not just us, Blue Abroad, Tez, like why do they all put so much time into this club? Like, it's a stupid question. We love the club, obviously, in that sense. But when they display this kind of effort, how much harder does it make it just to rock up here and actually put our time and effort in? Daff, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. We were speaking about it last night over the group chat and before we filmed today. Obviously we're just going to keep rocking up. We're good supporters. And the players don't show up. It's simple as that. They just don't show up. They're not consistent enough. For too long, mate. For too fucking long. It's not good enough. Like, you're getting paid. Imagine if you weren't fulfilling your job good enough. You're going to get fired. You're going to get fucking fired.
That's a brilliant point, I reckon. And so it also goes back to players in the 80s and 90s and sort of 70s, where arguably our greatest period and era is, where the players played for the jumper and they got paid not even a fraction of what players are paid now. Why are they putting so much effort, so much heart into this club when they were earning, a lot of them, if you go further enough back, a lot of them had jobs. This was just a sort of side thing, like it was a hobby sort of interest, but they still put a lot more effort and time into this and heart into this club, and they were paid not even a fraction of the money. Jack, how do you feel, mate?
Look, I mean, we've seen 2-win, 4-win seasons. So, we're used to this shit, but I think it's just draining, getting your hopes up, even when you're not, you don't try to buy into it all of the time, but like you still, it just happens. You get your hopes up and then just crashes every week. So it's just draining. I think even more so than, when you win 2 games a year, because at least you're expecting to lose every week. But when you actually have hope, it's just worse. It's just hard.
Hope's a dangerous thing to have as a Carlton supporter, I would have thought. No, also, mate, Mitch, how do you feel, buddy?
Yeah, so someone mentioned it on the fan cams last night. It's when your mum says she's not angry, she's disappointed. That is spot on. That is spot on.
Love it.
Like yesterday, I feel that was probably, I reckon right now where we are as a club, I reckon it's probably the darkest time. I like for a failed rebuild, 6 years. I don't know if it's failed, but for a team that's literally 1 year in their rebuild, boys, 1 year in their rebuild, and they're beating us by 40 points. Fuck, mate. We're 6 years in a rebuild. It's not good enough. I mean, we mentioned it last night. We as supporters, we deserve so much more than this. So much more. And it's actually beyond a joke that this has happened again.
And the problem is, mate, like, they're not hurting like we are. They're
not at all. I mean, of course, you see like Walsh.
Listen to
players like Walsh and Silvani, maybe.
Yeah, but like, there's obviously a few, not all, as a collective.
But why not the whole fucking club?
We're a team. The whole club. The whole fucking club.
Yeah.
Top to fucking bottom.
It doesn't make sense. Like, surely they should be hurting more than us. Realistically, they should be, but they're fucking not.
The worst thing is, I always think about, why are we the only fucking club for their rebuild not to fucking work?
And that's a beautiful point, because it has to come down to, it can't be Teague because he's been there for only a couple of years. It has to be everyone else at the club, like the board down to assistant coaches. And we've seen obviously Barker leave sort of recently, and you can't keep blaming the head coach. You need to look, as we say it every week, but you need to look at other problems first and other things that could be causing this, because he's been here for a fraction of the time that we've been bad for. And his win-loss ratio, I don't think is actually that. I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't think it's that
45% roughly.
Yeah, well, that's about.
He was there 2011, 2010 he started. So he would have been there for a bit of rats.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. All right, we'll move into our the predictions we had. We'll sort of touch on them briefly. I had us by 31 points. Obviously, Ollie's was out at this stage, so I had the small forwards in Fisher and Betts to kick 5, and Fisher kicked 1 goal 3. Eddie didn't score.
Yeah, did he have 5 kicks or?
What's that?
Well, Eddie didn't.
Eddie didn't. So we could have had 4 for Fisher. And the stage was set, I reckon, for a small forward or two to kick a few goals with Harry being out, but it just didn't happen. Obviously, Cripper kicked 3 goals, I believe. The first goal, I think it was pretty good goal. But yeah, I was sort of a bit off the mark. Ethan, what did you have, mate? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Was it written down there,
I've got it written down here for you.
Oh, thanks, mate.
That's all right. Harry to kick 8 goals. We won't touch on that too much, obviously, Harry being out. But you had us by 51 points, so off by a little bit there. Jack, do you remember what you had, mate?
Yeah, I had us by 19, which, I mean, not as bad as my prediction last week, I guess.
You got lucky though, because you didn't have you didn't put a player sort of prediction down as well, so you don't have.
Yes, I forgot about that. After the fact, I did have Jay Sauce for 3, which he didn't kick 3 goals, but he was still very good. So
that's all, mate. Mitch, do you remember what you had, mate? You got it. I've got a whole page of your predictions written down here. Which one do you want to mention?
I will edit my words 100%. But so Blue Bay's by 35, obviously. Harry Mackay to kick 9. That was a big slap in the face after he was named out. And also Paddy Dow to have, I said best on ground, but I reckon that's arguably his best performance. Yeah, I reckon that's arguably his best performance in the Blue, but obviously we're not going to look at that because we lost by that much. Exactly. But I reckon his personal performance, I reckon he played really well. And I just think he keeps on backing up, which is a really good sign for him. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to touch on
that's good, mate.
Too much.
I've still got a question for you boys. Harry being laid out, any full forward going out of a team, especially when, to be fair, he's the only one we have that we rely on every week, basically, with obviously Charlie being out, which should be back next week, we believe. Is Harry like the Carlton Football Club, or what's going on? Like 39 points we lost by. Like he kicks 2 to 3 goals a game, and he sets up a couple, but 39 fucking points we lost by. Like, I mean, people blamed Harry, which I think was The bloke's injured. I'm sure he wanted to play.
That's
Cool.
And
ridiculous.
it's not his call. It's not his call, really. So I think that's pretty harsh blaming Harry. But would Harry being in made much of a difference, boys?
It wouldn't make a difference, of course, but we still lost by 39 points. One player does not.
Structurally going forward, obviously would have been, big help, big difference in that regard. But I think, as I said in the chat last night, him being in doesn't affect our defensive intensity, doesn't affect our defensive transition. So and that's where the game was lost. They got most of their goals from the back half.
Yeah,
so that's where the game was won and lost.
And our list was started with defense. What the fuck is going on?
All right, this little segment should be a little bit easier. This is our worst moments, boys. Jack, what did you have for your worst moments, mate? And try and keep it to 2 or 3. I'm sure you can name 15. But...
Look, I'm not even going to try and name specifics, to be honest. It's just that third quarter. To be outscored 7-2 to 4 behinds in a quarter to the team that's 18th on the ladder.
Yeah.
It was just a hard watch. And to be up at halftime, to have the momentum going into the second half, and then to just completely switch off.
What are they saying at halftime? It's happened so many fucking times. It's annoying me.
Yeah. That's Mitch.
Yeah.
What did you have for your worst moments, mate?
Yeah, so also the third quarter. And also the conversion in the first half. Just we had chances, too many chances, and obviously we couldn't convert. And also, as we mentioned, the halftime chat. What the fuck are they speaking at halftime about? What are they speaking about? Like, we're up and about. Like, we're obviously not playing our greatest footy, but we're up against a guy, against a team that's playing pretty well. Like, mind you, North Melbourne did play a very good game, I think, but we were still.
We just made it look. We made it
look better.
Some fucking premiership team. That's the problem.
I just don't understand what Teague and all the coaching staff are going in at halftime for. Like, what are they saying?
I think that's why fans want him gone, because I've never seen a team respond that badly many times.
Literally at three-quarter time chat, he was then roasting when the game was lost. Too late, mate. It's too late. It's too late.
Fuck me.
He was fuming,
But it was too late. Yeah. Way too late. 3 quarters. If they kick 7 goals in a fucking quarter, the bottom team.
Firing up.
Yep.
That's good, mate. The emotion. I love it.
I love it, mate. Love it, Pato.
What did you have, mate, for your worst moments?
The worst moment, which literally, broke me, was Taron Thomas's goal. Like, what the fuck? Like, it was the easiest goal I've ever seen.
Which one?
It was open goal. He's just running in on goal. I'm like, yeah, that's game over. If I see any, I'll unleash. But seriously, we would have kicked goals yesterday if we were out there for North. I'm being serious.
Yeah,
genuinely.
I'm being serious. Nick fucking Larkey kicked 7. Good on him.
Did anyone go near Steve-O the whole game? Every time I saw him, had 50 meters of space.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I think tough. Trent Jamont had 30. What the fuck?
Jamont.
Yeah.
Fuck me. He had 27.
You said it before. We made him look like a premiership.
Yeah.
Sort of team.
It's a joke, mate. But yeah, those easy goals were the worst moments. I've never seen. We've got smashed before, but I don't think we've ever let goals in like that. Fuck me. Oh, geez. It's bad, boys. It's bad.
It is. Yeah, for my worst sort of moments, not even just in this game, I'm sort of going to go back to the last 3 weeks. We have 4 goals, 13 behinds in first quarters. So that's our starts the last 3 weeks. Bearing in mind, we won last week as well.
But still, 4 goals, setting the 13. Tone poorly.
That goes back to taking it. And some weeks, that's the only issue. Yesterday, that was not the only issue, our goal kicking, that's for sure. But as you said, it sets the tone, exactly right. But with saying that, we will try and pick our best 3 players. Jack, who do you have for your best 3, mate?
I had Sauce number 1. I think he tried his guts out all day. He had 21 touches, 9 marks, 4 tackles. He was the highest ranked player on the ground. And I think with him having a second ruck against Sherry and Goldie, I think it was a very, very good effort from him. And unfortunately, not many guys went with him. Obviously, he can't go past Walshy. Obviously, he's a star. 27 touches, but it wasn't a Walsh game, as we know. Didn't have the impact he normally does.
Yeah.
And for the last one, I'll go Cribber. 3 goals, 21 touches. Tried his best. Not much I'll say, really. It's very hard to pick 3 players.
Yeah, you done well, mate. Mitch, what do you have, mate?
Yeah, so obviously, as you mentioned, Jack, about Walshy, obviously it's not a Walsh game, but he in my eyes was probably best on ground still. And Jack Savani second, and also Paddy Dow, as I mentioned before, he was third for me. And also just a special mention to start. I thought he started really well. But yeah, unfortunately I couldn't get him into my top 3, but no one else really. No one else at all.
No, that's good, mate. Daff?
Yeah, I was speaking about this fella before. Adam Sard actually kind of did his job. I don't think many people did their job yesterday, apart from a few. Yeah, I'd have him as my best. Tommy DeConning, I reckon, was good in the air and in the ruck. Taking that ripper grab. Unfortunately, missing the goal. But probably third, probably Silvani and Cripps about the same. Cripps played up forward and had 21 and had kicked 3 goals.
Yeah.
If we won, everyone would have been raving on about that. But
exactly.
And Sauce stats, fuck me. 21 touches, 16 kicks, 5 handballs, 9 marks, 4 tackles at around 70%, and he's playing in the ruck. Jeez, good on him.
Yeah, and I've also, mate, I basically had the same as you boys. I going last, I always put 4 or 5 players down, just because I can sort of change it a bit, because, instead of saying the same player all the time. But I had Walsh, Cripps, TDK, Sard, 21 disposals at 71%, TDK, 22 hitouts, Goldie got 30, and so against an experienced ruckman, I think he held his head fairly high when not a lot of other players did. Well, if you don't have much more to say, we're gonna move on to our favourite segment. And there's no positives in a loss, but it is good seeing the young man fired up. So we're going to throw it to Jack with Speak Up Speechley. Take it away, mate.
Look, it's just not much energy at the moment. Like it's just hard to even get fired up because what's the point?
Yeah. Exactly.
What's the point wasting this energy on a club that clearly doesn't waste any energy on the supporters? But in saying that, I think my point today is not necessarily about the game. It's more as the club, as a collective for however long it's been now. I think my main point is that since 2014, we've either won the spoon or lost to the team that's won the spoon every year. That's for a team that's meant to be, getting better.
That's actually laughable. That is laughable of how bad that is.
Yeah, I find the game yesterday very similar to the Adelaide game from last.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. No, slight finals chance on the line against the team on the bottom of the ladder. And then you just don't show up.
That's a thing. Finals were there. They were there. Yeah. They were literally there. If we won,
winning, we were 10th.
Of course.
Yeah.
But there was still.
I get it. I'm the same, but it's just why? We need to stop talking about it.
Yeah, 100%.
We are disrespecting other teams that are in the fucking eight. Really.
Yeah,
exactly.
We haven't had a really good win this year. Really, our best win. What's our best win? Essendon.
Freo win without five at Marvel.
Maybe. Freo.
Yeah.
They were good days, but fuck me. We haven't had a breakthrough win.
Good days don't define the season.
I mean, when you can't beat a top 8 side, you can't call anything a breakthrough win.
That's it. We're talking about, and it's not our fault. It's, I think all of our supporters are the same. We're sitting there talking about, as I said, we're crunching the numbers, we're mathematical chance for finals, and then we're losing to North Melbourne, who's dead last. It's our expectations and the confidence we go into each game with is, I don't know. Like Jack said it pretty perfectly in the group chat yesterday. Can't remember exactly what it was, but you say about you can't really go. It's hard to go into the game with so much expectations when you've been let down so much. We're talking about our.
I think we need a petition. Moment. We need a petition to change our fucking club song because we are not the team that never lets you down. What?
Oh, how true is that? That is
change
so
the
true.
Fucking words.
Fuck, man.
I'm sick of it. I can't sing that line. I honestly refuse to. It's just not right at all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's tough. It's tough. Well, that's about it for me, boys. Do you have anything else to add? Ron?
I was actually just about to touch on about David Teague. Of course, we don't really want to single out players. We don't want to single out staff, but David Teague is the man of Carlton in some words. And I just want your thoughts. I'll grab each of you. And just what you thought about Teague before the game and what you think about how much this game, that performance, 39 points to bottom of the ladder, what that kind of impacts on Teague.
So last week, I'll sort of go back a little bit. Last week, somebody broke I can't remember who it was. I brought it up last week.
I think it was Tom Brown.
Tom Brown at that time, maybe. Yeah. Is it Tom Brown again, or was it Morris? I don't know. Anyway, they brought up Teague's job being mentioned in the review or something like that, and how it's sort of under pressure a bit. And then we obviously beat Collingwood, so it's all woo, and we all forget about it for the week. And then we go out and we lose by 39 points to North Melbourne. So if there's any truth to what they're saying and what was said this week, then it's hard to see David Teague keeping his job, I would have thought. I mean, I reckon he should, and hopefully he will. I don't think he's the whole problem, but he needs to also change things up as well. And Wiedering forward for me, I don't think we've mentioned it at all, but Wiedering forward for me that's Brendan Bolton. I said
the same thing at the time. Brendan Bolton's back in the box.
Destroying moment.
And I didn't even know that it happened because they were already talking about it. And then I mentioned, wait, I can't believe my eyes. Is Wiedering forward? Because I thought for a second
maybe he got the wrong end of the ground.
Yeah, I literally thought that Mackay moved forward. And I'm
that's
like,
what I thought.
weird.
Yeah.
That's weird because Savlaki's playing well, and then next minute I see fucking Eddie Betts and Zach Fisher next to him, and I'm like, no, he's not, is he? He's not, is he? And he fucking was forward. He was literally laughing. He was laughing to Mackay. He was laughing to Mackay, and I could tell Mackay. Well, this is the North Melbourne Mackay. I can tell that he was probably saying, wrong end of the ground, mate. I can already tell that's what he was saying.
Yeah,
but that is laughable. That is laughable.
Then again, though, we just didn't have the best game.
That shows fans that he is. I don't think he's tactically good enough to coach.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to force one of the best defenders to play full forward to make a change, is that your only change you make? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing. Like that's.
Yeah, look, I mean, I just want to say, like, I've massive respect for Noble. Like, I think Noble is a really, really good coach, and he purely, out-coached Teague yesterday, well and truly. But I think, I mean, obviously had massive faith in Teague coming into the game, as back to Mitch's question. And I think after the game, obviously I still want him to be there. I think, ditching a coach after 2 years is never going to help. It's this point, you're just going backwards once again.
Yeah.
But I think, we just need more support all around the board, all around everywhere of the club, because it's just a joke at this point.
I 100% agree, mate.
How about you, Duff?
Yeah, well, before the game on Blue Abroad Saturdays, thanks to Riley for having us on, me and Mitch yesterday.
Good job, boys.
We shouldn't really sack Teague. He's only coached for 40-odd games, But, wow, yesterday he was out-coached. Like, all to blame, right? Players as well. They're AFL footballers. They should know what to do. But, like, he's not able to fix anything, like, structurally.
Yeah.
And it's really clear to see the same problem from round 2 to fucking, what is it now? Round 20 now. Like, you see teams like Richmond, that they have a problem and they fix it.
Yeah.
They find ways to fix it. Like,
they have the people to fix it.
Yeah.
As in assistant coaches. Like,
yeah,
even, like obviously Dimmer as well.
Like someone said, I think it was my brother yesterday, was messaging me about it. We haven't really had a proper senior coach for the last few years. Like, is Brendan Bolton really a senior coach? Is David Teague really
at AFL level? Yeah.
At AFL level. Like, we haven't actually brought in, like, I don't know. I'm not
what do you mean? We had Mick.
Clarkson or something. Like, you bring in him. He's a proper head coach. Like, I feel as if we've just gone a bit, like, we're trusting these guys so much. They're not, like, I don't know. They just can't assert their power enough, like a Clarkson would, to his players.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time, you don't want to fall into the Mick trap. It's a balancing act.
Exactly right. No, it's also like you don't want to. Yeah, like I was always disappointed with the Mick Mullen. I think even when we brought him in, and then obviously the way it ended as well. We don't want to fall. We don't want to keep doing that. And not in no disrespect to Clarkson, he's one of if not the greatest coach of all time. But we can't keep.
I think the
like,
thing
sort of
is,
replace,
Mick
sort of
Mullen
recycling.
I think it's completely different though. Well, I think Clarkson's still in. He's still a great coach.
Yeah, exactly right.
See Hawthorn now, they've beat some decent sides this year, like here and there. That's coaching. Well, I'm telling you, like the way he changed the game. Like last week, Melbourne looked terrible. He made Melbourne look terrible the way he the way they change. We can't change. We play this radical fucking shit footy that is so unwatchable right now. It is not even funny. We are the worst to watch.
Exactly. That was the mate. All right, it's been a pleasure as always, boys. It's always a lot better to do it on the back of a win, and it's very bad and tough to do it off the back of a loss, and a loss like that. But I will just say as well before we go, Saturday morning I will be co-hosting. I'm basically just there and just putting a bit of a face there on the Blue Abroad show on Saturday. So be sure to check that out. I hope I go all right. I'm a bit nervy.
You right, mate.
You'll be right, Sammy.
I'll probably spend the whole like hour or whatever just talking about Charlie. Just my excitement. But hopefully he's back next week.
Hopefully.
I hope him, Harry, and then Crippen go back into the midfield and see how we go from there, boys. But yeah, I think that just about wraps it up.
And as always, go the Mighty Blues.
Go the Blues.